Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. In the last video we talked about the demise of the mom and pop lawn repair shop businesses and how overseas has played a big part. A lot of I was just talking with, it'd be fourth generation auto parts uh, family, and what they had done is they saw the writing on the wall about 7, 8 years ago, and they had 4 stores, in different towns, and they end up selling 3 of them off, plus half the inventory of the fourth, because they were at retirement age, and the son kind of helped take it over and stuff. But he was telling us yesterday that he could go online and order from, I think it was rockauto.com. He figured out brakes, calipers, bearings, and something for his Suburban. He got the total price of that and got it into his cart, and then he did it as anonymous, and then he went over to his distributors that were out of a bigger area out of Syracuse and checked the pricing on the same ones, and he could actually buy from Rock Auto at half the cost for the same quality parts that his distributors were charging him locally. Yeah. So it's you have to. We both talked about how you have to, change with the time. If you're not willing to change and diversify and find your niche, then you're probably going to be sitting on the sidelines. And for him, he's my age, but he's like, I have the welding auction and settling business. I'm going to keep that going, but he's taken all the showroom and the upstairs and having it all remodeled for offices, and he's going to rent them out, lease them out by the year, because he doesn't have any need for the room anymore, because he's just getting right out of it, other than just the gas, and he could use the garage for that. Smart move. So what do we do to diversify when we saw the writing on the wall? Well, one of the first things we did was we slowed down on buying inventory for parts. The other thing we did was we looked and said in the local area. See, when we were doing online, we had 4 overseas employees and sometimes up to 6 employees here locally just doing the parts side, and then one guy doing mechanical. And we started looking at, do we sell the business, downsize the business? What are we going to do? And with me getting up in years, I decided I'm going to downsize a little bit. Bigger is not always better. It comes with more headaches. So gradually we weaned our employees down to where there was just 2 of us. And we looked at, in the area, local area, what niche is not being fulfilled. Where is there a need? And when we say small engine repair business, you guys that have been doing it for years like me, we don't work on just lawnmowers, weed eaters, and chainsaws. We'll work on just about anything, whether it be a diesel-fired generator, to tractors, to what have you. And our shop, just like any other repair shop, we have oxygen and acetylene, torches, we have welders, we have all of it. So the niche that I saw in the area was none of the bigger shops wanted to touch any of the older farm tractors, and there were quite a few of them. And what surprised us is that it didn't take long for our name to get out there of what we were doing, because we take a tractor and bring it in, go through it, to the customer specs, and we even put paint, decals, everything, so it looked like a brand new tractor when it come out of the shop, if that's what they wanted. You gotta do what the customer wants to a certain point. The ones that pay the most are the one that says that the tractor belonged to their father or their grandfather, so it's got sentimental value, and they're willing to spend a little bit more money. Where the guy that just wants it for his woodlot to bring firewood out, or skidding trees, or sugaring. But we started in the local area, and it was one tractor here, one tractor there. Along with it, we maintained our customer base with our small engine repair, and we still do. Soon, like I said, our name started going out further and further and further, and we had people that were trucking in tractors that were 140, 150 miles away just to get it work done, because nobody else would work on them. And that's one of the reasons that I bought my Ford Dually, and we have a gooseneck trailer, is we started traveling, easily 100 miles one direction just to pick up or drop off a machine. And we talked about in prior videos about mechanics liens. You have to be realistic and knowing what your customer wants. So if you got a customer that has sentimental value, they'll pay more than what the tractor's worth. If you got a guy that's just in the woodlot, and that tractor, let's say a Ford 8N, 9N, 2500 in our area is pretty average with decent tread and running. If it comes in and you're telling the customer it's going to cost him $2,000, be careful, because even a mechanic's lien, by the time you figure your labor and $2,000 in parts, that the machine now the bill is worth more than the machine is. And that's why I say you really have to listen to the customer and talk in layman terms with them of what they're up against. But that was our niche, and the same principles of the small engine repair shop followed. And an example of the one that we just got here a month ago, we went up to Tupper Lake, which is about 80 miles from us, 90 miles. And he had a Farmall Super M. And he said the only problem that was wrong with it was a head gasket. And he actually bought the head gasket, but he couldn't get anybody to put the head gasket in. And I said, you sure that that's all it needs is a head gasket? I said, as far as I know. When we got up there, it wasn't running, hadn't run in 3 years. He failed to tell us that, 3 years. And he gave me a check for $500 to start to see what I could do with it. And that belonged to his father. So we brought it home. Threw the compression tester on it. It's a 4-cylinder. Cylinder 1 was 0. Cylinder 2 was 28. Cylinder 3 was 22. And cylinder 4 was dead as well with 0. So what do? Well, what we did was good old PV blaster. Now, the old timers used to say take Coke, because Coke is very corrosive, and pour Coke into the holes. But we use PV blaster, put the spark plugs back in, and let it sit. Because a lot of times if it's sat for even over a year, the rings in the piston will not allow it to move, to expand, to build pressure. So basically this video is just to show that you need to be able to evolve, change, if you want to change in business, because it's always changing. Something that worked 10 years ago is not going to work today, and finding your niche is what's going to make you money, what's going to keep you in business. And for you guys that are starting out, you know, look at what the other shops in your area are not willing to do or not concentrating on. You know, I know that some of the shops in our area for the small engine repair don't want to work on the older machines. They have a tendency of their bread and butter is warranty and selling new units. You know, so if you didn't buy it from them, good chances are you may not even get it back before the end of the summer. And that, by doing it that way as a repair shop, you will piss off a lot of people. And I'll tell you, bad news travels fast. So find your niche. What's not being fulfilled in the area? You know, don't just, if you've got another shop close by and they're selling brand new Cub Cadets and brand new Troy belts and whatever, it's probably not smart to set up and do the same thing, because now you've got competition that close to each other. And the other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to race to the bottom. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is don't get into a price war trying to undersell somebody else. You know, I've had a couple people comment on our videos, and they're correct that we're just too low priced right now. We're going to move it up for our hourly rate. But I've watched guys get into price wars of where they start dropping the prices on their parts, trying to undercut the competitor, and everybody loses. Customer wins because they're getting the best price because you guys are fighting with each other. As I've said in prior videos, instead of competing against the other shops in the area, partner with them, become friends with them, help them out. If I have a customer that comes in looking for a certain air filter and they're in a hurry for it and I don't have it here on the shelf, I will call personally to the other shops and ask if they have one. You know, and they do the same thing. You know, if they're booked solid where they're concentrating more on warranty and their own customer, if they get a call from somebody that they've never done business with that says, you know, how soon can we get the machine in, they will give that person our name and number and say, look, call them, because they're not doing as much warranty work because we're not selling new units. You know, one hand helps the other, you know. But find your niche. Find out what other shops are not doing. Can you still, you know, make money at small engine repair business? Absolutely. But you got to be smart. And you got to have a plan in place. And think outside the box of what you can and can't do. And don't get stuck in the idea that all I'm going to do is lawnmowers, or all I'm going to do is chainsaws, or all I'm going to do. You need to kind of, whatever the need is. For us, farm tractors, the older ones that you can't plug in on a computer, that are not using DEF on that stuff. That's our niche. But we're still doing lawnmowers and chainsaws. Actually, I got 3 chainsaws in yesterday, 5 lawnmowers, riders in yesterday, a push mower in yesterday. So, I mean, we're still moving the smalls as well because that's our bread and butter. The gravy is the tractors. So in the comments, post, what's your niche? How did you find it? You know, for you shops that have been in business for quite a few years like ourselves, we've got a lot of new guys that are watching this, and they're trying to get in, and they're trying to figure it out. You know, I have one fellow there that just bought a trailer, and he's going around buying up the older machines and fixing them up and selling them. And I told him, I had a video where I said that kind of keep a 10-year rule, in fact, where anything older than 10 years, a lot of people aren't looking for them. But he's found his niche, of saying in his area that they are looking for the older machines because they were better built. That's 100% correct. What I'm going to tell you with all my videos for you guys out there, I'm at the age where all I do is I give advice. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Hopefully you can take something for a little bit here, a little bit there that will help you succeed at what you're trying to do. And the other thing is I always say this: location, location, location. You know, if you're in a city, you're probably going to see more push mowers, blowers, and weed eaters. If you're out in the rural area outside the cities, you might start running into riders. If you get out into the country, now you got the riders and chainsaws, and you see what I'm saying? So it's wherever you're located is going to dictate how you're going to do business. So you guys, you know, the older shops, write in the comments of how you guys have found your niches and how you've been diversifying. And you new guys, if there's something that we haven't covered that we're overlooking, which could happen very well, probably already has, post it, and I'll focus a whole video on it. If there's something I can help you with, that's the goal of these videos. And bringing our shop online is to help other people. We are trying to teach people that they can do it if they really want to. So on that note, I'll catch you on the next video. So thanks so much for watching.